Thank you very much. A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the three key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier. For 40 years, Iran has been saying death to America, death to Israel. They have been killing our people, blowing off their arms, blowing off their legs with roadside bombs. That was their specialty. We lost over 1,000 people, and hundreds of thousands throughout the Middle East and around the world have died as a direct result of their hate. In particular, so many were killed by their general, Qasem Soleimani. I decided a long time ago that I would not let this happen. It will not continue. I want to thank and congratulate Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu. We worked as a team like perhaps no team has ever worked before. And we've gone a long way to erasing this horrible threat to Israel. I want to thank the Israeli military for the wonderful job they've done. And most importantly, I want to congratulate the great American patriots who flew those magnificent machines tonight, and all of the United States military on an operation the likes of which the world has not seen in many, many decades. Hopefully, we will no longer need their services in this capacity. I hope that's so. I also want to congratulate the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Raising-Kane, spectacular general, and all of the brilliant military minds involved in this attack. With all of that being said, this cannot continue. There will be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran far greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days. Remember, there are many targets left. Tonight's was the most difficult of them all, by far, and perhaps the most lethal. But if peace does not come quickly, we will go after those other targets with precision, speed, and skill. Most of them can be taken out in a matter of minutes. There's no military in the world that could have done what we did tonight, not even close. There has never been a military that could do what took place just a little while ago. Tomorrow, General Kane, Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth will have a press conference at 8 a.m. at the Pentagon. And I want to just thank everybody, and in particular, God. I want to just say we love you, God, and we love our great military. Protect them. God bless the Middle East. God bless Israel. And God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you.
That was Trump's address to the nation in the aftermath of his attack against Iran, effectively declaring war on the Middle Eastern nation and threatening more strikes if Iran opts to retaliate, saying, quote, "There are more targets." He also took to Truth Social, writing, "Any retaliation by Iran against the United States of America will be met with forces far greater than what was witnessed tonight. Thank you, Donald J. Trump, President of the United States." Now, two things can happen here. Either Iran complies with Trump's threats and doesn't retaliate, or they see this attack as the provocation of war that it likely is, and they escalate. Now, I'm admittedly not a Middle Eastern expert, but I do have common sense, and I have at least a cursory understanding of how Iran operates. I can't predict the future, but I wouldn't put money on peace. I would also imagine that we would see retaliation, especially given the fact that Iran state TV is reporting, quote, "Every American citizen or military in the region is now a target." Now, I've sat here for the better part of a decade and listened to every single Republican wail on an endless loop about Benghazi being the biggest national security failure in U.S. history. Will those same Republicans condemn this administration if any U.S. service members die at the hands of Iran because this president decided to unilaterally declare war without the requisite consent of Congress? Something tells me that the silence here will be deafening. And of course, All of this comes in stark contrast to what Donald Trump sold his supporters about his presidency. This is a small sampling of what that sounded like.
We're rebuilding our military stronger than ever before, and we are not going to deplete it again on stupid, senseless, endless wars. World War III has never been closer than it is right now. We need to clean house of all of the warmongers and America last globalists and the deep state. I am the president who delivers peace. I was the first president in decades who didn't start a war. But I stand here today, and I'm the only candidate who can make this promise. I will prevent, and very easily, World War III, very easily.
And this is what Trump said just months ago during his inauguration.
Like in 2017, we will again build the strongest military the world has ever seen. We will measure our success not only by the battles we win, but also by the wars that we end, and perhaps most importantly, the wars we never get into. My proudest legacy will be that of a peacemaker and unifier. That's what I want to be, a peacemaker and a unifier.
Ah, yes, a peacemaker and unifier, which is, of course, famously accomplished by dropping bombs on a highly reactionary country in the Middle East. Reminds me of that last peacemaker and unifier, George W. Bush, and his legacy of peace and tranquility. And look, all of this is happening in violation of the Constitution. Thomas Massie even came out and said, quote, "This is not constitutional." The reality is that it is up to Congress to declare war, not the president. But he won't because he doesn't respect the Constitution, and he made the calculation that his minions in Congress wouldn't dare speak out against him. And frankly, that was a safe bet. Speaker Mike Johnson came out and wrote, "The president made the right call and did what he needed to do. Leaders in Congress were aware of the urgency of this situation, and the commander-in-chief evaluated that the imminent danger outweighed the time it would take for Congress to act. The world's latest state sponsor of terrorism, which chants death to America, simply could not be allowed the opportunity to obtain and use nuclear weapons. The president fully respects the Article I power of Congress, and tonight's necessary, limited, and targeted strike follows the history and tradition of similar military actions under presidents of both parties." And Senate Majority Leader John Thune wrote, "The regime in Iran, which has committed itself to bringing death to America and wiping Israel off the map, has rejected all diplomatic pathways to peace. The mullah's misguided pursuit of nuclear weapons must be stopped. As we take action tonight to ensure a nuclear weapon remains out of reach for Iran, I stand with President Trump and pray for the American troops and personnel in harm's way." All of which is to say, congressional Republicans will quite literally never protect their own autonomy as a co-equal branch of government. They are there to serve the God King above all else, even if it means it drags the United States into exactly the kind of war that Trump and Republicans spent months vowing to avoid. After all, a vote for Trump and Vance is a vote for the pro-peace ticket. Before you go, if you enjoyed this content and you want to see more and support independent media, please subscribe to this channel. The subscribe button will be right here on the screen. But second, the reality is that we are now in a political environment where this administration can lean on any of the social media platforms to suppress certain voices if they don't like critical coverage. That means my longevity here is in the hands of a few tech billionaires who are already making it clear that they are willing to cater to this administration. To that end, signing up for my newsletter is a way for me to reach you directly if that ever becomes necessary. I'll put the link right here on the screen as well, so please sign up. It's free, but there's also an option to do a paid subscription if you'd like to support me and my team. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching.